The JFK assassination, the flag was bright that morning, not yet burdened by its own colors. November light pooled in the chrome, in the curve of a fender, in the pink of a suit that would soon learn a darker shade. Dallas leaned in, hands on railings, children on shoulders, roses breathing in the open air of an open car. A motorcade is a sentence moving through a city. Commas of applause, pauses at corners, a period to come. From a window framed with books stacked like bricks, from somewhere sunlit and somewhere shaded, sound arrived as if the day had cracked its knuckles. Time did something unnatural in Dealey Plaza. It folded, it stuttered, it took 3 steps and lost its place. An 8mm, I blinked, and the world learned to count in frames. Hats flew to hands, birds drew ellipses above live oaks. A man learned the grammar of impact back and to the left, and a nation inhaled fire and paper petals. There are days when protection looks like absence. The bubble top stayed folded like a promise, not kept. Gloved hands that should have held the steel rails hung back as if waved away by an invisible courtesy. Night stories of late drinks became morning stories of slow reflex. The root bent into a shallow bowl where echoes multiply, a theater ticket torn in half. I'm just a patsy. A voice caught between fluorescent hum and handcuffs. Then a basement, cameras bristling like winter grass, and a man stepped from the edge of the crowd with a pistol the size of a closing door. History flinched. The only witness fell into silence, and the country learned how noise can be used to bury noise. In Dallas, mercy moved quickly. In Bethesda, mercy became procedure. Sheets and scalpels, film and light albums with missing pictures. X-rays that argued with themselves, measurements that migrated, a bullet on a stretcher curving like a question mark. Through 2 bodies and the physics of belief. Evidence wore suits, explanations wore uniforms. At a long table of polished certainty, pens cleared their throats. A man once fired took a seat among deciders. Paper stacked high enough to cast its own shadow. Stories aligned with the least embarrassing angles. The mess arranged into a single line with no branches. Across town, a small boy raised his hand to his brow and saluted an absence that would never step forward again. Elsewhere, rooms without windows made lists of motives and tried them on like tailored coats. The island, bruised by botched adventure. The offices where secrets grow extra doors. The ledgers of men who build machines that eat wars. The clubs where vows are made in whispers and handshakes. The dim corners where hate files its teeth against progress. Each theory had a heartbeat, none had a birth certificate. In the West Wing, numbers that looked alike swapped places. A memo was signed, a direction reversed like a tide in a canal. The drums grew louder across a jungle map, no longer penciled with withdrawal. Contracts fattened, flags multiplied. Mothers learned new prayers. Back in the plaza, the grass learned to keep a secret. The picket fence kept counting the years. The overpass listened and said nothing. Film scratched itself thin in the retelling. The frame that mattered became a reliquary carried from argument to argument. A city's geometry brick bridge, long kept drawing arrows that never quite agreed where they pointed. Decades later, cabinets still cough up redacted coughs. Ink masquerades as night over sentences that could end this sentence. Deadlines slide forward the way a chair slides back when the truth walks into a room. If there is nothing to fear, why hide it from the light? If the past is settled, why does it shift when we step toward it? We learn to live with a crease in the flag, with the weight of a riderless horse and reversed boots. With taps folding the air into a triangle you can hold. We learned that a dream can be calibrated for distance and yet still be shot out of the sky at street level. We learned that hope is not a doctrine but a practice. Hands outstretched against the wind of oncoming history, and we kept his words like flint in our pockets, striking them when nights felt too long, asking what we could do, not just for a country but for the quiet he left behind. In the echo between the shots and the salutes, between the roses and the rifle, between the oath taken and the oath broken, a vow remains. To remember the motorcade without forgetting the map. To honor the man without excusing the silence. To carry the stain as proof the cloth is real. To keep asking the questions that refuse to be buried beside the answers that were.